Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. I'm Jay Theo, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you are not new, welcome back. So I wanted to make this video because I feel like I owe it to my subscribers, I owe it to people that engage in my videos, a life update, because I've been gone from YouTube for some time now. It's been about 8 months since my last long form video post. So I wanted to offer you guys an update on what's been going on in my life, why I've been away for so long, and then also letting you guys know that there will be more content on the horizon. So that is the reason why I wanted to make this video. And also, I miss YouTube. I miss building this community. I miss the dialogue. I miss just building content and just, and building the connections that I've made over the last 4 years being on YouTube. So with that being said, I do want to let you guys know in the last 8 months, there's been a lot going on in my life. Late last year, around December, I got a new job offer to relocate to Washington, D.C. So in February, I left Los Angeles and I relocated over to D.C., which honestly was something that I wanted to do for a while. I had been looking at jobs in the DC area and just on the East Coast because I used to live in New York, my family lives in Michigan, and I just feel like at my core, I'm more of a East Coast, Midwest type of person. All my family is on the East Coast or the Midwest or the South, whether it's Michigan, North Carolina, Texas, South Carolina, Alabama. So I really just also wanted to be closer to my family. My mom's getting older, and also my dad already passed away. And also my brother, who lived in Phoenix for about 7 years, he also moved back home to Michigan. So I just was feeling like I just wanted to be back closer to family. I also just feel like like I said, I'm more of an East Coast, Midwest type of person. The West Coast was great, LA was great, but after a while, I just felt like I just wanted to get back to being closer to my family and just being closer to a culture that I'm more used to. And I feel like that when it came to LA, I feel like 9 years is a long time to live somewhere and to fill it out and to get your kind of bearings. And I met great friends, I experienced great things, I had a lot of fun. But for the rest of my 30s, I'm 34 now, for the rest of my 30s, I really want to experience something different. I think transition and change is always a great thing to do at certain phases of your life when you feel like things may just not feel quite right. So I definitely was in a phase where I just was looking for a change, I was looking for transition. All to say, I made the big move to DC, and with that, I relocated for a job. So y'all, my job, I'm grateful for my job, but it's a very stressful job, very demanding job, and honestly, from onboarding for 3 months and then getting thrown into the heat of the role, I've just been really stressed, really just trying to protect my mental health. And I feel like trying to post every week, trying to build content on YouTube, it wouldn't have allowed for me to really protect my mental health and for me to be able to actually adjust with the transition over the last few months and just make sure that I'm doing what I need to do for myself. So, I mean, as you guys know, relocating is a lot, especially when you're moving across country. Luckily my job did so much of the work. They were super helpful with relocating me. I didn't have to pay pretty much anything, but they have to ship your car, they have to, ship all your stuff. It's just like an ordeal just even getting all your stuff here. I was in temporary housing for like 30 days. Then I finally found my apartment. Finding an apartment was a whole ordeal. So just over those first few months, it was just tackling everything, getting a new ID, trying to build connections with new friends, just little things, even just like finding a doctor, finding a dentist, all those things, it just was taking up so much of my mental capacity. And then my new job that I just did not have the energy to be posting consistently on YouTube. So that's a big reason why I wasn't posting for the last 8 months. Also, with all that, I definitely had a period of where I felt like I was going through like a depressive episode. When you move somewhere new, you don't have friends, you don't have your community that you may have built somewhere else. So just when things are stressful and things are hard, it's harder to cope and it's harder to kind of work through those things. So for me, I definitely went through like a depressive episode. I was isolating myself. I wasn't really exploring the city. I wasn't really taking part in like all the new things that I was excited about when it came to DC. I definitely was just staying inside a lot of the weekends. I was just trying to catch up a lot with some of my work on the weekends and just like even at work. After work, I was working really late my first few months. And even we just kind of ended a busy period at my job. So even just the last few weeks have been really busy. But all to say, say is, going through a depressive episode is not easy, and it's something I really had to work through, just connected with family and friends. And I recently I had my first therapy session last Friday, so I have a new therapist that I'm working with. I really wanted to make sure I was putting my mental health as a priority. And the cool thing is, guys, he's a black gay man, or black queer man. I know he's LGBTQ, but he's a black man. So I'm super excited to have a queer therapist that's a black man. That's something I wanted when I was thinking about getting a therapist, and just even when I was moving out here, if I told myself if I ever got a therapist, I want them to be like a black queer man, just because we can have that like relation. And then just also, I just feel like there's certain things that are very nuanced when it comes to being queer and being a black man that I think a therapist that's a black man would just better understand. So I'm super excited about that, because a big thing for me when I go through depressive episodes or when I'm very, very stressed, I tend to shift out of my routines. I tend to not do the things that I normally would do in a typical week. And then my weeks get kind of flustered and just all over the place. During my first session, one of the things I talked about with him is I really want to work on stress management and just being able to stick to my routines and stick to being focused on like my well-being, and also just sticking to my goals. YouTube is a huge goal of mine. I've been working at it for the last 4 years. Cannot believe it's been 4 years. But I love this community that I've built. I love the content that I can make here. And I definitely want to continue moving forward with YouTube. So I want to have a therapist that can help me stay engaged with all my goals, no matter how stressed life gets. Because one thing we talked about in my session was, at the end of the day, stress is going to be everywhere. There's always going to be something that's going to want to throw your life off balance, but I want to be able to get better at working through those things and maintaining the things that give me a sense of peace and give me joy. YouTube gives me joy, so and it's something that I just want to continue to pursue, so I definitely want to make sure that that's something that doesn't get shifted out of my routine as I'm dealing with stress and other things that happen in life. Also, going to the gym. I joined Orange Theory out here. I also do Pilates, and I fell off my schedule when I was really stressed. Also just like cooking and just like making sure that I'm eating right and making sure that my body and my health is top of mind. That's something that definitely, when I was stressed and going through my different depressive episodes, those things definitely fell through the cracks. So I'm really just trying to work through just better managing my life, better managing my stress, and I had to work through those things first before I could get back posting content on YouTube. And as you guys know, if you ever move somewhere new, just trying to make friends, trying to just figure out your weekends at times, just getting used to the area, getting used to, just so many things. It just can cause a lot of like anxiety. It can cause a lot of stress. It can cause a lot of it can just take up a lot of time out of your week. So all of these things together, just to sum it up, this is why I was away from YouTube posting content. I'm super excited though that there were so many people still commenting on my video. I still was gaining subscribers. So I appreciate all the engagement and all the support even while I was away. It just shows that you guys really are supportive and that you guys really do believe in community. So I really, really, really appreciate that. So guys, now that I'm kind of working through these stressors, working through my episode in therapy, that's why I'm like, okay, I can build YouTube back into my routine. So guys, beginning in August, I will be rolling out 2 new series to my channel. Each series will be posted every other week on my channel. So one will be posted, another one will be posted, and one will be posted. So there will be new content coming, and I think you guys will really, really like it. I think both series will be a way for us to continue to build community. They still will have a high priority and focus on the LGBTQ community and the gay community. Also, you will get to know a lot more about me and get more insight about me, which I think will be really fun and exciting. I also will be bringing on guests going forward on some of the episodes in the new series. So it's definitely gonna be a different vibe, but a similar vibe, and I think you guys are really gonna like it, and I'm really, really excited to roll out these new series to my channel. And also I'm just excited to try new things. So yeah. Also, just to give you guys some other updates, I'm really trying to find my third space and get back to having that third space and that hobby. So I started taking improv classes again. So when I lived in Los Angeles, I was really heavily into the improv scene. I went through, I don't know if you guys heard of Upright Citizens Brigade, but I went through their whole curriculum, and I literally was in the academy. I was a part of 2 of their junior house teams. I literally did improv for like 6 to 7 years. While I was in LA, and then COVID happened, and then it kind of messed everything up. And then after that, I still was within the community, had a few auditions for some major teams at Upright Citizens Brigade. Didn't really work out, but then I also knew I was leaving LA, so I was like, okay, well, I'll kind of just let it go. But the great thing is they have like a really big improv scene here in DC, and they have a similar structure to what I had in LA. So I reached out to the improv school and let them know my experience and said, hey, I do have a lot of experience in improv, but it's been a few years, and I really want to connect with the community out here. So I definitely want to take some lower level classes just so I can connect with the community, get to know people. So yeah, so I started taking like an improv level 2 class. And I've gone all the way through a curriculum, but I started taking improv level 2 just so that I could start meeting other people and really be able to build a community for improv out here. And then also, I kind of want to also see where I could take my connections here with improv out to New York. But ultimately, improv comedy has just been something that is so fun to me. It's helped me with all of my content, from TikTok to YouTube to everything I do, even at work. It was always super helpful, just making me be able to think on my feet, making me feel confident. So I've been taking classes, y'all, and it's been so much fun. I'm just getting back into improv, so that's something that I'm doing that I'm really excited about. And I want to continue to kind of have those third spaces and those hobbies for me, because I feel like that really does bring me a sense of peace. So like I said, I'm doing Orange Theory, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to start doing solid core Pilates, so I also can have that as a component. And I'm not the best swimmer. I learned how to swim when I was like in middle school in Michigan and just never really tapped into actually utilizing my skills from swimming. So I'm actually going to look into some swim classes that I can take out here, probably starting in either late August or September, just so that I can officially really learn how to swim again. Because when I go on trips and stuff, I want to be able to jump in waterfalls. I want to be able to swim in the ocean and not feel scared and all those things. So yeah, so those are some other like positive things going on in my life. So I do want to bring up my love life, which still is non-existent. I've been on a few dates out here, but none of them have been worth my while. They all actually were pretty bad, actually, all 3 dates. So yeah, so I haven't really been dating as of late, but it is a goal of mine to, and honestly, that's a huge reason, actually, which I didn't touch on. It's a huge reason to why I wanted to move to DC. I feel like trying to find a partner in LA for 9 years, it just was not happening. And granted, I moved to LA when I was 25, so 24 going on 25. So yes, I was in my 20s, vibing, turning up, whatever. But now at 34, it's like, okay, after 9 years, like, what are we doing, you know? And also, I feel like from what I'm looking for in a partner, and not saying there's nothing bad to LA, a lot of my good friends still live in LA, but just from what I'm looking for in a partner, especially when it comes to just like building wealth, and not in like a elitist kind of way, just like building wealth and retirement, and just also just not being so into the industry of it all, the entertainment of it all. I think my partner, someone like that, lives in DC, where yes, they may be ambitious, they may work, they may have a career, they may have all these things, but they're also looking for a little bit more stability when it comes to a partner, and their nose isn't stuck up in TV, rapping, music, all those things. And I just feel like dating in LA, you have so many people that are there to become famous or to be a creative or to get in the industry. And I personally, I mean, I did attempt to get in the industry when I was doing improv comedy. I had an agent. I was going on auditions for commercials and things like that. And I'm not saying I would never dive into that again, but it's not like something that is like my number one, my main goal. I have to do that. My biggest thing is just like, how can I find peace in my life? How can I, but also make sure that I have retirement, that I have things that I can have, so when I get older, I feel secure. And I'm looking for a partner that thinks like that. Also, first off, I love all races. I date all races. I'm open to all races. But another big reason why I wanted to move to DC is that I do really want a black partner. And in LA, it just was so difficult, I feel like, trying to connect with black gay men out there. And I'm not saying DC is gonna be any better, but DC is Chocolate City. There's so many black people out here. And even just experiencing DC Pride, which wasn't my first time this summer. I've been to DC Pride many times. But just coming back and experiencing DC Pride, I just see all the beautiful black men. And even just being able to get a therapist that was a black gay man, just little things like that is just what I was looking for. But also, I really do want to try to pursue a black gay male partner here in DC, and I feel like in LA it just was not happening. Or the guys that I would meet, they're trying to be rappers, they're trying to be actors, and it's just like, it just wasn't aligned. You know, I'm not saying everybody has to work a 9 to 5. I mean, obviously I'm posting YouTube videos and I'm doing content, you know, and obviously, you know, I want to see where this takes me. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to have a partner that is focused on stability, that's focused on wealth building, that's focused on retirement planning. You know, it sounds boring, but, you know, at the end of the day, there's just so much craziness going on in the world that I'm also just looking for a partner that is looking at those things and concerned about those things. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not completely focused on the finances 100% when it comes to my man. I'm also looking for somebody who's charismatic, who's fun, who's a joy to be around, who's intelligent. So yeah, and I just also just love the East Coast energy from men. Like when I lived in New York, I feel like New York had its issue with dating, but I feel like men were very assertive in New York. Men were very direct in New York. And I feel like DC, I see a little bit more of that. But I also feel like in DC, the men have been pretty nice. I feel like when I walk up to them, give them a compliment, give them some love, they exchange Instagrams, they're very open to it. So I feel like even just connecting with men has felt a little bit more genuine, a little bit more sincere than when I was in Los Angeles. So, but just to wrap up, that's another big reason as to why I wanted to move out here, and just to give you guys an update on my dating life. But you know, I am 100% taking boyfriend applications. I am ready. I'm at this point. I still want to really focus on building a core group, to be honest. First, when I met with my therapist, he even said like building your friend group and kind of building that community first is really important. So I do have a couple friends out here from college. I have a really good friend who I met through work, and I have one gay guy friend that I feel like we're really connecting and building something sincere. Well, he used to live in LA, and then he moved out here back in December, and then he lived in Detroit for some time. But I'm from Michigan, so we have a little bit of that connection. And we've been having like a really cute time vibe. So I feel like I do want to focus on building those friendship connections, building that community. But I'm also at a place now where I am openly and actively dating and open to the idea. And I really want to put positive energy towards that. I know sometimes I tend to be a little bit negative when it comes to dating, but I'm really trying to kind of put that more positive spin and positive thought when it comes to the pursuit of my future person. So yeah. So guys, that pretty much wraps up all the life updates I have going on. Like I said, I really wanted to make this video so that I could give you guys update and let you guys know that I'm still here, that I'm still making content. I appreciate all the support during the last 8 months where I've been away. You will be seeing a lot more consistent content from me. We'll be having 2 new series rolling out starting August 3rd. And I'm just excited to continue to engage and just build this community and connect with you all. I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited to be back on YouTube and just ready to get back into the thick of it. So as always, y'all, do your best to stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you guys on the next video.